All right, let's get to it. So, I guess I should probably wait a little bit more for some more people to join in. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about the megafauna, at least a few of them, because there's a whole bunch of creatures that existed during the Ice Age that obviously you can't talk about all of them, but the big main ones that most people know about are the ones I want to go over. And it's pretty crazy. Just the size and just the sheer, magnitude of these creatures was just a remarkable thing. And it's very cool, and it's important because when we get into it, we're going to find out that the majority of them began going extinct around the same time period, which is super interesting. So we got 10 people in here right now. What's good, everybody? How's it going? Let me move some stuff around here. Okay, so, and another really cool thing is that they found a perfectly preserved cave bear in some part of Russia. I forget how to pronounce it, but we're going to be talking about a little bit about that. They were freaking huge, man. Josh, did you get your knowledge from schooling or on your own research? This was basically my own research. I didn't really pay attention a whole lot when I was in school. I'm not gonna lie. I was like most kids. I thought history and all that kind of stuff was kind of boring. So I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention. I didn't really memorize a whole lot of stuff. But after, figuring out, after, being explained the Younger Dryas event from Randall Carlson on the Joe Rogan podcast, it sent me down this rabbit hole of just, I couldn't get enough information about it. And I love it. I love every bit of it. And I'm always learning more, and I make mistakes. I want to correct those mistakes if they're pointed out. That's just how it is. I'm not an expert, so it's just one of those things to where I'm a dude off the internet. Take it at face value, but do your own research. That's what I always say. Always, you want to go do your own research. But I just spent the past few hours putting this presentation I'm getting ready to do for you guys together, and hopefully it's going to be dope. So, we're gonna get started here now. Real quick, like I have 1N20 D&D. Like I have a rough idea how big a moose is, or a grizzly. Imagine how much bigger the megafauna was. When did I start? It was probably back in 2015 is when I really started to get into it. And there's just so much stuff to know. I mean, Randall Carlson, he's been studying this stuff for like 40 years now, and the dude is just an encyclopedia of information. The amount of stuff that he can just pull off immediately off the top of his head is amazing. Yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are, bro. Okay, let's get into this now. So, the megafauna. All right, so this is obviously the mammoth, and I have the scientific name right here. Forgive me if I cannot pronounce some of these things, though, but it's Elasmotherium. No, that's the hairy rhino, excuse me. The mammoth is Mammothus. Mammothus is what it was. And this dude went extinct around 10,300 years ago, basically directly after the Younger Dryas warming event, okay? And I don't have that graph pulled up, but you have like 15,000 years ago. Let me come back over here. You have about 15,000 years ago where it's nice and cold. And then all of a sudden around 13,000 years ago, it goes boosh upward. And then it drops back down around 12,000 years ago and was super cold for about 1,000 years. And then around 11,000 years ago, it came right back up into the warmer climate that we're currently in. And like 1,000 or so years after that warming is when the majority of the mammoth went extinct. Now, what's interesting is that when Siberia was submerged from the melting of the glacial ice, there was a small section of mammoths that survived on this island. They survived, and they evolved to be smaller. They literally like shrunk in size over a few hundred years until they finally officially went extinct. I think it was around 6,000 or 7,000 years ago. Don't have that number immediately off the top of my head right now, but the mammoth at its height, at its shoulders where it stood, was 11 feet high, and some of them in parts of China could be up to 12 and sometimes 15 feet high. So they're massive, and they could weigh up to 10 tons. Just remarkably huge. Oh, the island is called Wrangler Island. That was the name of the island that they got stranded on. And they turned into pygmy mammoths, so is what they called them. So mammoths are the iconic creature of the Ice Age. Like everybody knows about a mammoth. And here I have a size comparison. This is how you can get an idea of how big these dudes were. I mean, they were just remarkably huge. I mean, if you had like a few of them walking around, I can only imagine it would actually make the ground shake. So that is the mammoth. And here we have a skeleton for him right here. Really cool stuff. If you've never seen a actual mammoth skeleton, I highly recommend like going to a natural museum where they have one and go look at it, because you really don't get an idea of actually how big they are until you see one in person. And I was at the Smithsonian with my family like years or so ago, and they had a full mammoth skeleton set up on their display, and it's just with how long just the tusks were. I mean, they were like huge. They're just unbelievably huge. It's amazing. So that's the mammoth. Then we have a cousin of the mammoth called the mastodon. Okay, this dude is not as big. Have him down here. This dude went extinct around 10,000 years ago, roughly. Okay, and these numbers are roughly, guys. That's kind of like when we say they basically are no longer found in the archaeological record. So roughly 10,000 years ago, basically right there up with the mammoth when he went extinct. This dude was 8 to 10 feet tall at its shoulders, okay? And it could weigh up to 4 to 6 tons. So again, massive creature. And the cool thing about these dudes is that we know that they weren't like eating leaves and stuff. They were called browsers. They would eat actual branches and stuff off trees. Obviously, they would have like leaves going through their system as well, but their main diet was eating actual wood, which is super interesting. You know, you don't really hear about creatures just eating wood all day. That was really cool. So I got a few pictures of this dude here. You know, I thought this picture was kind of cool. These two mastodons fighting, and their scientific name is a mammut, M-A-M-M-U-T. I think it's kind of funny. You got the mammothus for the mammoth. You got the mammut. It's like a mutt. It's like a tiny mammoth in a way. So these dudes were pretty big too. Okay, if one of those dudes walked up to you in the middle of nowhere, that would, you know, you might sour your pants after a bit. Interesting thing though, during like right before the revolution or whatever in the United States, or I can't remember, it was during Lewis and Clark around that time, so I guess that would have been after. But anyway, Jefferson had a special mission for Lewis and Clark when they went on their trip out west. It's really interesting. Because they were finding all of these bones and stuff from the megafauna, and they had no idea what they were, and they had these weird names for them that I didn't put the time into finding that out yet. But Jefferson gave Lewis and Clark a special mission to go out and try to find a mastodon. Obviously, they were extinct, so there was no going to find them. But I think it's kind of interesting that it was like the secretive mission to go and try to find this creature that they had the bones for, but they couldn't. They had no idea where the actual creature was. And my thought is like, what the heck would you have done? Like, what would they have done if they actually did come across a mastodon in the middle of nowhere? How would they're here? They are carrying all their supplies in a canoe down a river, and what are you gonna do? Because Jefferson was like, you should totally bring them back, and it's like, wow, yeah, okay. Good luck with that, because these dudes could weigh up to 4 to 6 tons, and I don't know how two people and a Indian girl are going to wrangle a mastodon. So that's I don't think that would work out. So here we have the skeleton of one of these dudes. Again, you really don't appreciate the size of that guy until you're right there next to him. I mean, you can get an idea of what it's like in this room, of how big that dude is, but that is truly massive. So let's come to the next one here. Now, this one shocked me because you have the giant sloth, or the ground sloth, okay? And I was talking with some dudes a while ago on the Xbox, and was talking about the megafauna and whatnot, and I talked about the giant sloth. And I had this dude roughly my age like, what the heck is a giant sloth? And I was like, you don't know what a giant sloth is? It's really sad sometimes, because some of these creatures, I really did enjoy like looking at pictures of them in those history books and whatnot. I didn't really care about the information, but the pictures are what got me. And just the size of the giant sloth is one of those where it's amazing. It's remarkable. These dudes could be up to 4.4 tons, and standing could be up to 20 feet tall. Here I got a size comparison so you can get an idea. These dudes were massive, okay? Just huge creatures. And they ate leaves and all that kind of stuff as well. standing about 6 meters high for those who are in the metric system. Yeah, so giant sloth. That's really freaking dope. Now, another thing people really don't know is that America had lions. We had lions here in the Americas during the Ice Age. These dudes, again, were freaking huge. Now, obviously, they're not like remarkably massive, but they could be up to, where'd I put that? 8.2 feet in length, like long, and about 4.2 feet high at their shoulders. And here we have a comparison on their size right here. Again, you know, that's a really big freaking cat. That's really big. And they were just a little bit bigger than the, you know, African lions today. And these dudes could be up to 772 pounds. So massive, massive animal, and it wants to eat your face. And here I got a skeleton of one of them right here. Really cool stuff. Now, the thing is with the Megafauna skeletons is that they're not exactly fossilized. They're not old enough to have, you know, all of the bone to completely been replaced by minerals. So they're actual bones. Most of them are actual bones that we have from the Megafauna that we can actually get a real idea of what they look like when it comes to putting their skeletons and stuff together. And then we have the direwolf. Most people know about the direwolf specifically from Game of Thrones. Now, these dudes were not as big as the ones in Game of Thrones. Here we have a size comparison right here of how big they were. Here we have a normal gray wolf and then a direwolf. So they were really close to the same size, just a little bit bigger. These guys could be up to 125 to 175 pounds. So they were a decent size, but they weren't massive like you see in all the movies and whatnot. But these dudes were like the predators of that time, you know, like not the apex. We're going to talk about the apex here in a second, but these dudes are like what the horror stories were made of, you know. I mean, literal monsters existed long ago, and you know, imagine just like going to sleep one night and one of these dudes just showing up. That would or several of these dudes. These guys, they're wolves. They were in packs, so they were coming for everybody. You know, hide your children, hide your wives, however that song went. So here we got a skeleton of one right here. Again, not the biggest dude on the planet, but they were something to be nervous about. And then we have the hairy rhino. Oh, what was their scientific name? Hold on. Canis dirus. That's their scientific name. I kept meant to do their scientific names. The American lion is Panthera atrox. Okay, so all right, let's do the hairy rhino, or the, where'd I put him? This is the long, big name that I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing. Elasmotherium, or hairy rhino, whatever you want to say. Okay, again, massive, and obviously the big thing to point out is that big pokey thing sticking out of his forehead. I don't know if I don't have the number on how long those things could get, but I mean, that looks to be like 6 to 7 feet long and extremely thick. You could probably punch right. That's massive. That's freaking huge. But these dudes could be up to 8 feet high at their shoulders and weigh up to 5 tons. And they were hairy. They had hair. They were like basically massive rhinos with hair. And these are all creatures that were in the Americas during the Ice Age. And the Clovis people, the native people in the Americas, were rolling and strolling around with these dudes. They had to deal with animals like this. Could you imagine? It's amazing. Here I've got another picture right here. This is an artistic rendering of one. Obviously, all of these are artistic renderings because there's no more around. So let's get a size comparison on this dude. Or no, that's the skeleton. Do I not have a size? I don't have a size comparison. Well, poo. My apologies. That one doesn't have his horn though, which is upsetting. Now, this is one of my favorites, is the Irish elk. Why it's called the Irish elk, I'm not exactly positive because it was in the Americas, but these dudes, their antlers were remarkable. And I got a picture of one here in a second, but these dudes were 7 feet tall at their shoulders, and the span of their antlers could be up to 12 feet wide. So here we go on the size. Okay, that's obviously another artistic rendering, but I mean, that's a big deer. That would feed your family for a while. And here we have a skeleton to get a better idea of the antler. Look at the antlers on that dude. I mean, it's kind of you kind of wonder how much muscle had to be in their necks to hold up all of that weight. Could you imagine 12 feet of bony stuff protruding out of your head? You must have had like the muscular shoulders of a giant, which is what these dudes were, which is super cool. But these guys could be up to 1,500 pounds. So again, another really big creature. And that's the common theme throughout most of the megafauna during the Ice Age. Everything was just freaking huge. And we'll get into that in a second, explaining, you know, why being so big might have been a problem for them. And the next, and the name, I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing this one. The scientific name for this one is Megalocheiros gigantus. Sure, we're gonna go with that. All right, next dude is the saber-toothed tiger. Most people, this is their favorite one from, you know, people I've talked with. Now, I do find it funny that the teeth literally take up the entire width of the dude's mouth when its mouth is open. It's kind of a wonder how it was really able to eat anything. How do you get your mouth around anything with this dude? Where'd I put him? Saber-toothed cat. All right, these guys could be up to 350 to 620 pounds. And I don't have the exact measurements on how big they were. I do have a size comparison chart right here, though. There we go. Okay, so again, another really big freaking cat. I bet you if you had a box, it would want to sit in it, like all big cats do. Here, I got the skeleton for one right here, okay? And now, obviously, they were around for a while. Most of these creatures lasted for millions of years up until they finally went extinct around 10,000 years ago. Oh, and the saber-toothed cat went extinct around 12,000 years ago. So basically, right at the beginning of the Younger Dryas warming event is when this dude finally kicked the can, essentially. I totally forgot to give you all the numbers on the rest of them. We'll go back over that in a second. I'm going to go through the rest of these guys, though. Next dude, now this was the apex predator of the time, the short-faced bear. This dude is no freaking joke. You know, like, you know, people, you know, they think bears are nice and cuddly and you want to, you know, hug them, okay? Not these dudes. The short-faced bear, while on all fours, its shoulders would be about 6 feet high. So if you're a 6 foot tall person, its shoulders would come up to your head. Standing, these dudes could be up to 13 feet high. Just massive. And it could probably roar like nobody's business. Given how long their legs were, here I have a better picture of they had extremely long legs, so they're thinking that these dudes were able to run extremely fast. Obviously, we don't exactly know, but given the length of their legs, they were probably able to run at least 60 miles per hour. That's a rough estimate. Don't know that exactly, but it's just kind of a thought. So you could not outrun these dudes. You could not outclimb these dudes. These dudes were the top dog, well, top bear, I guess, dudes of the Ice Age. And they went extinct around 11,000 years ago. Again, right there around that same time period of the massive climate change that was taking place at the end of the last Ice Age. Here I got a skeleton of one of them to show you. Boosh, there it is. That would be gnarly. That would be gnarly to see. Now, the last dude is the cave bear. Now, these dudes were not as big or as agile as the short-faced bear. These dudes were quite literally cave bear. Most of the bones we have found from the cave bear have been in caves. So that's kind of why they are the cave bear. Now, these dudes could be up to 1,543 pounds or up to 1,700 pounds. Massive. That's 70 to 80 kilograms. Excuse me, 700 to 800 kilograms. So really big dude. Here I got a size comparison of this guy for you. Get an idea of what these dudes were like. Again, just the theme of tonight. Huge. Massive. Now, awesome thing about the cave bear right now, so let me come over here. They found a remarkably preserved cave bear in Russia. And forgive me for trying to pronounce these names in Russia, but I will do my best. I want to read this here for a second, but Ice Age cave bear found preserved in the permafrost on Siberian island. According to the preliminary analysis, the bear is between 22,000 and 39,500 years old. Now, point out, these dudes went extinct basically right before the massive climate change at the end of the last ice age. These guys went extinct around 24,000 years ago. So this is rough estimate exactly, but they think this dude, for how old it is remarkably preserved. Let me I've got a few pictures over here, get an idea. They also found a cub next to it. Here we go, right here. So this is the cave bear they found, and then the cub that was also with it. This is his head up here, his body down here. But I mean, just look how remarkably, like, this is still flesh. It still has its nose intact, which means that there's DNA all over this dude. And the interesting thing is that apparently they want to try to find a way to actually bring back the cave bear now that they have this sample. This is the first cave bear that they have found that is remarkably intact. Like I said before, all of the other previous findings, they were only finding bones and stuff. But let's come down here and read a little bit, if I can pronounce this stuff. So, scientists in the Northeast Federal University of Yakutsk, Russia, announced on Saturday the discovery of a well-preserved cave bear on the new Siberian island of Bolshoy. I'm not even going to try to. It's somewhere in Russia, let's just put it that way. Anna Lakowski reported in the Siberia Times. The adult bear lived its life sometime in the last ice age, at the same time as large animals like woolly mammoths, mastodons, and saber-toothed tigers. When the bear died, permafrost preserved the soft tissues, organs, and fur, making it the best preserved example of a cave bear found yet. Most cave bear remains discovered so far have been odd bones and skulls. So I'm not going to read all of this, but I just thought that was super, super interesting. Look into that further if you want to. We have found a cave bear, guys. We have one. Super, super cool. Now, let's come back over here real quick. Which one was I? Did I already go over all this? Short face. Oh, that's right. Okay, short face bear. Back to this guy. All right, so this dude's scientific name was, where'd he go? Arctodus. I want to know who comes up with these names, first of all. Like, I mean, Mammothus for the mammoth sound, like, it makes sense. You know, Mammoth for the mastodon kind of makes sense. But then you have, like, Phant0m for the hairy rhino. It's like, how do you decide what to name these things? So that's kind of what I have together right now for that. So I'm going to come back over here to the chat and see what you guys are talking about. Let's just put this over here on the mammoth. See what's up with you guys. All right, what do we got? 24 people in here. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. All right, so Un1verse D&D. That's cool. Never heard of the pygmy mammoths. Yeah, definitely look into that stuff. It's really, really crazy. I forget. I need to go back and actually do more research on who found them and exactly all that kind of stuff. But tiny mammoths, little tiny, you know, pocket-sized mammoths were found on an island because they were able to survive the flood on that little speck of land, which is super interesting. Now, interesting thing I want to point out about that. Okay. Because I get a lot of people ask me, do you think there were giants? Were there ever like human giants? Well, given the example of the mammoth and how it became a pygmy mammoth over just a few thousand years because they had to survive. And, you know, you can't be a massive several ton mammoth on an island and you're not going to eat anything. You're eventually going to just run out of food. So could it not be possible that some kind of human during the Ice Age was also a massive, huge creature that eventually went extinct? And obviously the smaller ones are the ones who made it through, because when the main thing that causes an extinction is the loss of habitat. When there's nothing to eat, you're just gonna die. That's just how it works out. So who knows? Kind of interesting thought. Come back down in here. Still 3 meters. Average human is just under 2 meters, I think. Yep, massive, huge dudes. You're talking about Lewis and Clark and the life. You're talking about Lewis and Clark, and for the life of me, I can't remember the woman's name. Sacagawea, something like that. Sacagawea. Hold on, let's find out. Lewis and Clark. I don't know what to type in to find that right now. Pretty sure it was like Sacagawea or something like that. I want to say Sacagawea. So hey, somebody will find it. Somebody will find it. Don't be embarrassed. I totally understand, Benjamin. Don't you worry. Hiawatha. What are you talking about the Hiawatha for? Sacagawea. Ah, see, I was right. I knew you were in there. Look at you. Kyle Dykes, a Florence and the Machine reference. She is a really good singer, by the way. I saw her live. It was like 2 or so years ago. She was over here on the East Coast, and we went to go see her, and she was pretty good. She's pretty good live. She's one of those people that sounds good live. You know, you get some people where it's like they sound great on the recording, but then you get there live, and you're just kind of like, whoa, that you are not anything I was expecting. But Florence and the Machine, she definitely knows how to sing. Imagine the neck muscles on that dude, Sir Neanderthal. Yeah, imagine the muscles on all of them. Apparently, the saber-toothed tiger was one of the bulkiest cats in existence. Apparently that dude had some major muscular power, which is crazy stuff. Best fossils come from Ireland. Good to know. Max Widian, I don't know, bro. Always thought of these beasts as bigger than any cats we have today, but that's like tiger weight, right? Yeah, tigers are the biggest cats on Earth today. The American lion was a little bit bigger than that, basically. So not huge, like bigger than you can comprehend, but they were just having cats that size rolling around your neighborhood is just it would be terrifying. I mean, I couldn't imagine living in Africa in small like little shack town and having to worry about cats that size. That would just freaking suck. Grizzly would be barely come up to its shoulders. You're talking about the short-faced bear? Yeah, dude's huge. When did the live meeting start? Well, it started around 8 o'clock, and I can't go super late tonight, guys. I got some stuff I got to do. By the way, I have been working some Major League overtime for the past few weeks, so I have not been able to actually dive in and make a new video for an actual video. So apologies for that, but this week I'm going to be back to my normal schedule, so I'm going to be putting together some more stuff for that. Don't know exactly what I want to talk about yet, though. There's a lot to talk about. I've actually been, one of the things I've been diving into most recently has been sacred geometry, and actually like drawing sacred geometry out. I got a compass and a square, and I was able to build a pyramid. Hold on, check this out. Made some pyramids out of paper. I was able to figure this out. There you go. This is supposedly supposed to be the actual angles and dimensions of the Great Pyramid. Let me actually move this dude over here so you can see it. Made 2 of them, right? So I was thinking of making a video to show you guys how to do this. I think that'd be pretty freaking cool. But yeah, pyramids, love it stuff, and it's super easy too. Oh man, I left my art book in the other room, so I'm not going to go get that right now, but I will make a video showing you guys how to make a pyramid. Now, the 2 things you're going to need, though, you're going to have to use these things because I don't know how to do it any other way. You're going to need some kind of compass, and I'm talking about I just need to go get the stuff. I'll be right back. Ah! Right, back. You know, I got, now you can't probably see it very well, but this is kind of what you're going to be working with, and I'll obviously do it a lot better, or you can see it a lot better next time. But you're going to need a compass, and I need to buy another one of these dudes, because this one's not the greatest, but I need one of these dudes and some kind of ruler. And I will show you guys how to make the pyramid. So, get that stuff ready, because that'll be coming soon. We shall see. Here we go. We're all still connected. Like ligers, those hybrids tend to be much bigger than either parent. Yep, pretty big stuff. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. So what time is it now? 8:27. Oh, it's only been 30 minutes. Man, I was expecting this to take way longer than what it really did. I highly recommend, guys, by the way, if you want to learn more about these kind of creatures, highly recommend looking up Geocosmic Rex. Let me type it in here for you guys. Randall Carlson. Geocosmic Rex. Okay. That channel on YouTube is Randall Carlson's channel, where he basically has this classroom lecture style video where he talks about his knowledge in all these creatures, and he is way more informed on the topic than I am. Okay. I've only been doing this for a few years now. He's been doing it for some decades. So I recommend looking that up. But I'm probably going to be keeping this live stream short, guys. I appreciate all you guys for coming in and chilling for a bit. Interesting thing to point out, another thing. Apparently Trump approved of the Oracle and Walmart deal for TikTok. Anybody heard about that? Apparently they're going to be moving the main hub for, you know, all of the TikTok users in America to Texas. That's the idea. Hasn't happened yet. Has not been confirmed yet, but it is probably going to happen. So if that does happen, I might just start making some new TikTok videos again, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Because honestly, making TikTok videos was way easier than making YouTube videos. Let me tell you that. YouTube videos just, it takes so much longer to do the editing and all that kind of stuff to make a YouTube video. So if that goes through, I might jump back over there. So we'll see. We shall see. But Sir Nerdalot, any thoughts on possible microbial life on Venus? Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I totally think life is out there somewhere within our solar system, not just on Earth. I don't see how it can't be, with how extreme life can go. Life will find a way, you know, like from Jurassic Park, whatever that dude's name was. I do find it absolutely possible. Now, what kind of life that would be, it'd be crazy. I mean, when they actually do finally find some kind of organism on another planet, that's going to be world shattering. It'll be crazy, because at that point, it is confirmed fact there could be life everywhere on every single planet, and we just don't know about it. I mean, just think of all of the life that could be just underneath the ground, just underneath the dirt on Mars. I mean, and they already, you know, we already know that at one point, water or some kind of liquid, likely water, they already found water actually in the poles, didn't they? On Mars. I mean, Mars had water. And 9 times out of 10, as far as we're aware, when it comes to especially Earth, when there's water, there is some kind of bacterial life in that water. All the time. So if there's water, there's life, and who knows what's underneath the crust of Mars, or just underneath some rock. Because, I mean, you know, you and I have never been there. We don't know. We have to wait for them to tell us. So who's to say they haven't already found something? There was this thing. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They supposedly found an organism inside of a rock from Mars. See if I can find an image of it real quick. Yeah, this dude. Let me come back over here. So, this is extremely small though. Okay, I don't know all the details about this, but apparently this is from a rock that they identified to be from Mars that ended up here on Earth. So it was likely like something hit Mars and ejected a whole bunch of material, and it came over here, landed on Earth. That's how they got this rock. Pretty sure that's how it worked out. I would need to look into it just to confirm all that, but do your own research, because this is life, Mars rock organism. That's what I typed in for this. But they found this little dude in here. Now we don't know exactly what it is. Scientists say it cannot be life with how small it is. Apparently it's extremely small, like smaller than any type of actual bacteria or something like that. But I'm kind of like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. Who are you to say how small life can actually be? Like, all we have are examples of things that were here on Earth. So if life can evolve in any way possible to survive somewhere else in space, who's to say it can't be extremely, extremely small? I'm a firm believer that when we actually do eventually confirm life somewhere else, we're probably going to miss it. We won't know it's life at first. It'll be like, oh my gosh, that's actually it right there. I mean, unless it's obvious, like super, super obvious, we're not going to know. Darkwing, what's up, good? What's up, yo? But as for life being somewhere on Venus, that would be, who knows? I don't know, but I do find it likely. I do think that if we eventually do find some kind of life on some other place, we're going to get a lot better at finding it. We're going to know where to look at some point. Yeah, most definitely. Well, guys, I'm going to keep this one short. I'm going to head out of here. I need to go make some dinner and do a few things in the back line. But I will be working on my next video this week. Hopefully, I'll have it out by this coming weekend. So we'll see about that. But I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. It's a short one. Appreciate it. And you guys have a good night. All right.